Hi, I'm ROSANNA and I'm here with international star Matt Goss, also known as the King of Vegas. So tell me, how did that journey begin with Vegas?
It was actually quite a beautiful experience in a way. I had no idea. I've always, in a way, had a massive love for the Vegas lifestyle because of my grandfather and the Rat Pack, and the sensibility, not just the music, but the camaraderie between fellas. I mean, I think being an Southeast London boy, I've always loved that camaraderie between the lads in Britain.
Glamour.
Yeah, but we also have that as the lads in London. But I think there was that kind of different level where I think a lot of British fellas have always wanted to be like in the Rat Pack. You know, a lot of guys I know anyway. So I did a video for a song called Evil, and one of the bosses of a hotel here and the owner of the hotel, George Maloof, saw the video with a man called Michael Greco, and they said, "We want you at the casino." And I got a phone. They said, "Would you fly into Vegas?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, when?" They said, "Tomorrow." I'm like, "All right, I'll come in." Had the meeting, and in my mind, I think the meeting went very well. Went back home, back to LA,
Yes.
and didn't hear a thing. A couple of days went by. I'm like, all right, that was fun. I guess going into Vegas for a day. Anyway, so Michael calls me and he says, "Look, we really love you, and I'm sure he said, I'm positive we're gonna to get this show signed off on and get you into this casino." I said, "Well, if I don't, I'm taking your watch." And he had an Audemars Piguet, and I love watches. Trust me, I love watches. And he goes, "I know you'll take my watch." Anyway, so the next day he calls me back and he says, "I've got good news and I've got bad news." And I said, "Well, give me the bad news." And he said, "You're not getting my watch. Welcome to Las Vegas."
Oh, wow.
And it was honestly exactly how it happened. We had about just under a year. You couldn't even get into my room at the Palms. It was amazing. I love playing the Palms.
But the show, like after watching it last night, I, in my head, envisioned something totally different.
Okay.
Like, you're actually really entertaining and you've got a sense of
You didn't ask
humour.
me.
You were bringing the men into it, the women into it, and playing
Yeah.
pranks. So it's
Yeah.
not just you singing, like you have presence and really good rapport with everyone. But it all started, I guess you started at such a young age. You were 17 years old and selling 17 million albums worldwide.
Yeah.
When you were doing Bros, so I guess it comes naturally to you. What were your best memories from that era?
I think Bros was something that is almost undescribable. It was called Bros Mania for a reason.
Yeah.
That we really didn't go anywhere without creating absolute mayhem.
Yeah.
And I think thinking back on it, I think that's exactly how a band should be. I mean, Bros created absolute mania wherever we went, Australia included. In fact, Australia is some of the
You have to
craziest,
come back there.
craziest. I'd love to come back to Australia. I miss my Australian fans very, very much.
Yeah, you're unstoppable. Everything you touch turns to gold. You've also done your own autobiography, which was a bestseller, and
Right.
a kid's book.
Yeah, that's one of the loves of my life. I lost my mother fairly recently. For me, it's 3 years ago, and I think that one of the things she made me promise was that I would release Bear Crimbo, and it's such a beautiful story and illustrated. I designed the characters myself, but it was illustrated by a wonderful artist called Melanie Florio,
Yeah.
and just the illustrations alone took 1.5 years because they're all oil paintings,
Wow.
which I have them here, and I feel like it's not about just diversifying; it's also about words. I love the use of words, and this story in particular is very, very inspired on loyalty and selflessness, and I feel like there's plenty of wacky characters out there, but this is a classic story designed for a mother or a father individually to read to their kids 7-10 days before Christmas, and have a tradition. And
What I have read about you is you're one of LA's most eligible bachelors.
Yeah.
You were voted sexiest man alive. You're single. So what are the top 3 things you look for in a woman for all the ladies listening out there?
I mean, I didn't write any of that. First and foremost,
he put in the votes himself.
I didn't mind. Yeah, I have like a very small family, so that doesn't even count either. But I think I'm allergic to arrogance. I love humility. I love women that have a sense of vulnerability as well as strength. And I think strength is a very important ingredient in a relationship, because you need that for many, many things. Like, you know, the thought of having a partner that's strong, that encourages you, and vice versa. I want to lift my woman up to the heights that she can't even imagine. But I would also love to be able to absolutely collapse, being a strong man, collapse on her beautiful soft bosom.
Very transparent.
Plural.
I love your honesty.
And surrender, and have a woman that's strong enough to know that that's just a moment in time and I need that. So that's one thing. I think to all-encompassing description would be a very kind heart and a dirty mind. So I think I want to...
Okay, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
Kind, beautiful woman with a dirty mind. My number is 318.
I don't even know what to say. Okay.
Instagram, Matt Goss. Twitter, Matt Goss. Yeah.
And
do you have a dirty mind?
Maybe.
There's no maybe.
I think there's a time and place.
Listen, I'm sure the fellas watching this want to know. You definitely have a kind heart, so the conversation's there. But do you have a dirty mind?
Maybe. Definitely at times, but it's about balance.
See how it goes, fellas?
Now you've made me blush.
She expects a complete straight answer. But she's like,
No, of course, like, there's a time and place.
Of course. When's the time and the place? I'm not letting this one go.
Yeah, you've got me there. Okay. Yeah, no, of course.
So for the viewers, the little veins come out there.
I'm just like, yeah.
Giveaway.
You did make me blush. I like that. Not many people make me blush, and you did make me blush at the show.
Good, I did.
Very flattering and good singer.
You did blush.
But yeah. Okay, so, and the other question I wanted to know, so for the future, what do we have to look forward to? You're releasing, obviously, these 2 songs.
Well, I'm actually recording an album. I've made a definitive decision with my manager Ollie. We looked at this from 37,000 feet. You know, we didn't just look at, let's just do something. We actually made a very definitive decision, and we started off. I've got the most beautiful jazz Christmas record that I think I've ever heard in my life. I'm not just saying it. I made it with John Pizzarelli at Capitol Studios, produced by Ron Fair. It's the most beautiful piece of music I've ever made in my life. I love it, and that will hopefully be ready for this Christmas. But then I went and I decided, because I have that, and because I'm always going to do those kind of records at that time of year, I'm also going. I have to make commercial music again. Like, it was so clear to me, and then I saturated my mind listening to the commercial radio every day. And I played it, honestly, I played it to my team, Ollie, and the people around my team. And he went, you know what, I can't believe, he said, you've convinced me, like, immediately, like, on the first listen. He said, we've got to go back into this world. And you're not, you know, it's nice that my team do not want to pigeonhole me. You know, I love swing, I love jazz, and I think I really have an understanding of it. But I also have had many commercial hits, and it's in my blood, and I want to keep doing it. So me and Luke, we are definitely going to tour again. So we just have to put it.
And Australia's on there.
Listen. This is the reality. Is if I have any Australian fans, then just please make your voices heard, because we can only come to Australia if you want to see us play. I can assure you, the 2 shows we just did at the O2. Sold out 2 nights, 18,000 people each night. It was the most incredible weekend of shows. If you want us to come to Australia, just please let yourself be heard on our social media, and also then the way it works is promoters need to know that there's an audience there. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. And me and my brother don't want to bring a half-assed version of our show. We want to bring the full show to Australia. We don't want to do it any other way, and that's our right. We want to bring the full production to Australia, not a version of it. Yeah. So that's just the way it is, and that's the way me and my brother do things.
And that's why you've been successful. You give it 110% rather than 100. Now tell me something people don't know about you. I know that you box. You and your brother.
Yeah, I love to box.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm a little bit more nifty than people think. I'm definitely a scrapper.
Yeah.
But I do like peace, and I prefer peace over anything. But I think I'll always be able-bodied. Like my granddad threw off a couple of fellas off a bus once, and he was 65.
Wow.
And he was a good East London, proper East London Cockney Londoner from Bow. And I've got his blood, and my dad's a detective, Scotland Yard 6'2", murder squad.
Wow.
It's in my blood, it's in my brother's blood. So I think that there's a side of me and my brother that people don't know, but we are absolutely double trouble, me and my brother.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely believe that.
I mean, we're actually fearless. His tattoo
proper,
says fearless.
Very well spoken, but if need be, you can both fight.
Oh yeah, we've had to fight.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being us? Like when we grew up, I mean, more fights than I remember. But I think fighting's quite a moronic thing. To be honest with you, I think it's, idiots. If you love fighting, then I think it's stupid. But I think the difference is if you are not, if you're not going to be a coward and bring a weapon and just all that stuff. I feel like it's good to be an able-bodied man. But you must remember one thing: there's always someone tougher than you.
Yeah.
So there can be no assumptions in.
But of
getting
course,
into that
you've
situation.
never lost a fight, eh?
I haven't. I actually haven't. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I haven't. Nope.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to hear your singles be released and to see your movie. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we'll see you in Australia.
Please say hi to me on social media at Matt Goss, both Twitter and Instagram, because I really, me and my brother really miss coming to Australia. Some of our greatest memories we've ever had is in Australia.
Well, perfect. See you there soon.
Mm-hmm.
Mwah. You said that I'm going to do my mind. Okay, my parents were